So far, America has gone to war in many countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, and Vietnam. But the question is, what if a war happens on American soil in the future? What if all of America's enemies, China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, unite and attack America? Could they even defeat America? In 2024, America's total defense budget was $886 billion. In comparison, India's defense budget was only $75 billion. China's was about 3 times India's, at $225 billion. Even if you combine the defense budgets of the world's strongest countries, like China, Russia, and India, it's still much less than America's defense budget. But you might be surprised to know that there was a time when America's defense was so weak that enemy forces captured its capital and even set fire to the White House. So the question is, standing in today's world, if a similar attack were launched on America, could America survive? And why is it said that even if all the countries of the world unite and attack America, defeating America would still be impossible? Is America really that powerful? Today, in this video, we will discuss from America's perspective why defeating America in war is impossible. So let's get started. And yes, a small request. Making these videos requires a lot of effort from me and my team, so please give it a like. To attack America, to try to occupy America, they would have to cross 2 vast oceans and transport massive troops and weapons to reach America. But is this task easy at all? History shows that attacking America by sea is not an easy task, because the weather in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans often becomes treacherous. Moving a huge force by sea means a massive logistical nightmare. To cross the Pacific Ocean, China would have to cover nearly 10,000 kilometers. In the middle, they would get no support. On the other hand, America can monitor all enemy forces coming towards America from its Hawaiian Islands and attack them if necessary. And to come from the Atlantic Ocean, enemy countries would have to avoid the eyes of America's allies, their friendly countries, which is almost impossible. Now, if we hypothetically assume that America's enemies reach the west coast of America, what would happen? After reaching the west coast, they would face the massive Rocky Mountains, with a height of about 14,000 feet. Crossing these mountains would mean wasting a huge amount of energy, supplies, and time. And just beyond these mountains lies a vast desert region where daytime temperatures rise to 45–50 degrees Celsius and nighttime temperatures drop below freezing. Surviving in such extreme weather is very difficult. Additionally, there is a water shortage in the desert region. Look at the missions America carried out in Iraq. Most of them were in the desert, but even the Iraqi desert is not as harsh as America's desert. Now, if enemy forces reach the East Coast, they would face a densely populated area. Along with that, there are several military forts here. There is the world's largest naval base, Naval Station Norfolk. There are large military bases like the Pentagon, Camp Lejeune, and Fort Bragg. Now, you might think that America could be attacked from the north. Look, I admit that currently America's relationship with Canada is a bit strained, but attacking America through Canada is also not possible. Canada's geography is very peculiar, and the weather there is extreme. Sending troops from there would also mean facing extreme cold. Additionally, even though political relations with Canada are strained, currently there is military cooperation between Canada and America. Both are NATO members, so the option of attacking through Canada is not available to enemies. Attacking through Mexico is also not possible, because Mexico is a friendly nation to America. Besides, America has an amazing road and rail network, plus supply chain. America has about 7 million miles of road networks. This allows for rapid movement of any army from one place to another. Supplies and troops can be easily sent from city to city, and almost every city in America functions like a small mini fortress. America currently has over 350 military and spy satellites. This means they can scan every inch of the Earth. Where are enemy forces deployed? Where are submarines hiding? Where and when are fighter jets taking off in the sky? This information reaches the Pentagon every second. So, if any enemy country thinks they can sneak attack America, that too is somewhat impossible. However, in today's world, war is not only fought with tanks, missiles, or fighter jets. A simple mouse and keyboard can sometimes become a terrible weapon. America has cyber armies like the NSA and Cyber Command, which have the capability to cripple an enemy country every second. They can shut down an enemy country's radar systems if they want. They can jam their networks. They can even hack a warship's systems from a distance. So, to fight a war against America, you cannot just fight on the military front. You also have to fight in cyberspace on the internet. And America has already used cyber attacks to destroy Iran's nuclear site. I've made a detailed video on that topic. You can watch that video if you want. America has F-22 Raptors and B-2 stealth bombers, which America has already used in wars. These do not show up on radar. By the time the enemy realizes something has entered their airspace, their bases will already be destroyed. And the most terrifying thing is that these fighter jets, these aircraft, fly in completely silent mode. You can't even hear the sound of them flying. America's Predator and Reaper drones are the world's most advanced drones. They can target from thousands of kilometers away. They can stay airborne continuously for over 20 hours. Everything, cameras, lasers, missiles, are installed on these drones. So before setting foot on American soil, they will start attacking enemy forces with these drones. Hypersonic missiles that travel 5 times the speed of sound. Laser cannons where pressing a button can destroy the target. America is currently working on creating a separate force, the Space Force, for fighting wars in space. America currently has about 1.3 million active military personnel. Including reserve military personnel, that number goes above 2 million. And it's not just about numbers. America's military is one of the most trained militaries in the world. Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Green Berets, these elite units can fight in any situation. On the other hand, America's Navy, which rules over mountains, deserts, Arctic regions, and underwater areas, is the world's largest navy. America currently has a total of 11 aircraft carriers. Each carrier has 70 to 90 fighter jets, along with submarines, destroyers, and missile ships. These aircraft carriers are constantly protecting America from all sides. That's about the sea, but in terms of air power, only America rules the entire world. America currently has over 13,000 fighter jets and helicopters. Additionally, there are F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightnings, the world's most advanced fighter jets, and B-2 stealth bombers, which are undetectable by radar, KC-135 tankers that can refuel in mid-air. Now, suppose any country attacks America and occupies it. Even then, they won't be able to hold that area for long, because America has over 800 military bases in about 80 countries around the world. Germany, Japan, Qatar, South Korea, Bahrain, meaning if a war breaks out anywhere in the world, America doesn't have to send troops from its own country. They can attack within 24 hours from any corner of the world. Additionally, there is America's huge military budget. In 2024, America's military budget was $886 billion, which is 40% of the entire world's total military budget. With this budget, they build new weapons, research on AI, provide satellite support to drones, hypersonic missiles, and the entire armed forces. And you will notice that most of the world's military technologies, the ones newly invented, happen first in America. Even America's defense is extremely strong. The THAAD Patriot missile system, Aegis naval defense, these can destroy any enemy missile in mid-air. America's economy is so large that it said you can fund war forever. The massive expenses required to run a war, salaries for military personnel, weapon manufacturing, fuel for tanks and missiles, America can easily handle all these expenses. If a war becomes prolonged, many countries collapse due to their economies. But that's not possible for America, because America is currently the richest country in the world. America has many companies that only manufacture weapons and defense mechanisms, like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, General Dynamics. If a war happens, these companies can supply America's military in huge quantities.
America itself produces oil, gas, coal, uranium, everything. Meaning during wartime, America won't have to depend on any country for supplies. Even in food production, America is self-sufficient. If a war happens in the future, there is no possibility of a food shortage in America because America is a food surplus country. They produce more than what they consume. Now, when a war happens in any country, that country's currency starts falling drastically. But that's not possible for America because America's currency is the dollar. Almost every country in the world considers the dollar a reliable currency. So even during wartime, the possibility of America's economy collapsing is very low. Worldwide, arms, fuel, and food transactions are conducted in dollars, meaning America has advantages from all sides. Additionally, America can impose sanctions on any other country and weaken it economically. If a war ever happens on American soil in the future, Americans' ordinary citizens will also act like soldiers. Let me explain this simply. Currently, America's population is about 330 to 340 million. But do you know how many guns are in America? About 390 million, meaning more than one gun per person is available in America. And this number is much higher than any other country in the world. India, China, even Russia are nowhere close. One report found that 42% of American households have at least one rifle or gun, and they keep it for self-defense. They regularly go to shooting ranges, take hunting training, and are always prepared for self-defense. And if a war breaks out, they won't just sit idle. Instead, they will create their own small army in their area. And the final option left is a nuclear attack. If in the future China, Russia, Iran, all these countries together launch a nuclear attack on America, even then, all these countries, even the whole world, will be destroyed, because America has over 5,000 nuclear warheads. In short, if any country attacks America in the future, it will start World War III, and that will be the last day of humankind. However, history shows that America once lost a war, and that too on its own soil. So let's talk about that history. On July 4th, 1776, America gained independence from the British. At that time, America was not as vast as it is today. However, America's map changed rapidly. In 1803, America bought the Louisiana province from France for only $15 million. Meanwhile, the British were furious about losing America. They started attacking American ships and forcibly capturing their sailors to work on their own ships. Because of this, America declared war on the British in 1812. This war lasted for 3 years. In the war, British soldiers attacked America's capital, Washington, D.C. They even set fire to the White House. During this time, America's president, James Madison, fled the capital. However, Americans did not give up. At the very end of this 3-year war in 1815, the British tried to capture American New Orleans. At this time, American General Andrew Jackson, along with a few local Americans, defeated the British soldiers in just 30 minutes. In this battle, only about 70 Americans died. However, on the other hand, about 2,000 British soldiers died. However, this attack by the British, capturing their capital, was very shameful for America. But Britain could not hold on to this area. Finally, a peace treaty was signed between the two countries. The Treaty of Ghent was signed in 1815, ending the war. In history, this was the first event when a foreign power attacked America's capital, and perhaps this was the last attack in history.